All right, and we are once again live. Welcome back to the Let's Do Video live stream. Tim, good to see you as always.
Likewise, David. Yeah, what a fun-filled few days we've had recently.
We have a lot to talk about. I'm going to let everyone, I know everyone's a really fast reader, so let's just do a quick summary of Microsoft Ignite. Everyone following along? You can read, you guys can read this fast, right? It's just a few notes. We just have a few notes. Okay, we're halfway through. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. I think you guys get the idea that Microsoft Ignite was a lot. It really was a lot. Here's the table of contents, a little bit more manageable. Maybe we could start. Well, actually, first a couple quick housekeeping-ish items. On a sad note, the industry we lost Brad Sosa recently from AVI Systems, and I had the pleasure of working with him a few years ago. And I've worked with a lot of people in this industry, but he's one of those guys that really just sticks with you. And I wish I had stayed more in touch and worked with him more. There's been an outpouring of love and support on LinkedIn and social media. And anyone who's met him for 5 minutes understands why everyone's kind of why everyone's like this about it. So just all of our love to everyone at AVI Systems, because he was like family there, and to his family. Another housekeeping note on a brighter note for some lucky company, industry legend David Danto is on the market. He made a post on LinkedIn. He's not sure what his next step is going to be, but any company with any sense in this industry should be beating down his door. There are very few, and there's a lot of good people in this industry. There's very few legends. He's an actual legend, and I'm absolutely going to be trying to get him to join me to partner at Let's Do Video. But I think he's due for bigger things than that. So just a shout out of support to David, and let's dig into Microsoft Ignite. And I think the first thing I have to do is because we're going to be a little rough. So I want to apologize to Microsoft at first, because I've been kind of rough on them, because I think they weren't giving enough respect to our analyst community. I think they weren't appreciating the value we provide. We get invited to Zoomtopia and to WebEx, and we didn't all get invited to Ignite. But after attending it virtually, I understand. This wasn't Microsoft Teams con. This is Microsoft. It's a big company. They got a lot more going on than what we focused on. A lot of this wasn't really for us. That being said, they were smart enough to invite Rupam. So she's there kind of representing all of us. And I want to hear that her glass was always full. They better have treated her like a queen, because she's there for all of us, and she's amazing. And we're going to have to follow up with Rupam to see what she learned being there in person. So I'm talking a lot. Tim, do you have some initial thoughts on Microsoft Ignite?
Well, we've got Microsoft Build, we've got Microsoft Inspire, we've got Microsoft Ignite, aimed at developers, IT pros, business decision makers. But in the 2-hour keynote, it was everything from the way in which Microsoft are connecting up their UK data centers with new fiber to new GPUs. It was very confusing. All the news came in thick and fast. I should imagine it's overwhelmed. I've been to Ignite before. I've gone around the Seattle conference center and ran around there trying to find all the different rooms and trying to sit in on multiple different breakout sessions. There's a lot going on, and I think that's the problem. I mean, it's almost a microcosm of Microsoft's Office 365 portfolio. There's lots going on, and trying to make sense of when you use it, how you use it is very difficult. So I just find the whole thing really confusing, and I just want Copilot to come along and simplify it. So
Yeah, I want to ask.
in fact, I asked Copilot to summarize what Ignite was about, and it didn't help me at all. It just feels overwhelming. I'm sure it's very exciting being there, but I just feel completely overwhelmed by it all.
Now, attending virtually, and I want to talk about the virtual platform a little bit. There was at the bottom an AI assistant. I don't think that was Copilot. It was Copilot-ish. It felt like the new AI, but it didn't seem as smart as the new the new stuff. Like I asked it, I said, what platform is being used? Because they were using some events platform and they don't have an events platform. I'm a little confused by that. And it was like, I don't know. There was one session where there was no audio. And they had 7,000 sessions. It's okay that one session had an audio glitch, that this isn't a, they did a great job with the event. I'm not complaining. But I typed into the AI assistant, what's wrong with the audio in this session? It was like, I don't know. It was not,
Well,
it was
Teams
not
does
super
actually
helpful.
have an events platform, but it's they don't use
Teams
that. They
events,
don't
that's a
leverage it.
big webinar. That is not
It
an
is.
events, but yeah. They call it Teams
Yeah.
events, but it's really a big webinar. They were using something that was an events platform. It had a lobby, it had the sessions, it had all the stuff I like. I don't know what it was.
It wasn't their own. Yeah, that's for sure.
Um, so, I wanted to share. I did have one initial thought or one takeaway that I was able to wrap my head around after a lot of stuff that I didn't understand. I went and I did my research and I looked at Microsoft's revenue breakdown. I just was curious about where they make their money. And as I expected, Office and Windows is a big part of it. Excuse me. I was surprised to see that LinkedIn brings in so much money. I was, but what my takeaway is, they want Copilot to be on this chart. Copilot isn't a feature in Teams. It's not a feature in Office. Copilot is one of the big things that Microsoft does now. That was how I took it. It's going to be here in a couple of years. Just a thought.
Well, the thing that I've taken away is that they've got to recoup their $10 billion plus of investment in OpenAI somehow. So, let's start charging some additional SKUs and get some more licensing sort of out there so we can recoup our costs. I've got no doubt that it will. We're in the early adopter stages of AI, and I think it shows promise, but it almost feels like the early days, David, of, you remember Google search where you had to type in all of these interesting strings like minus, you had to put things in quotes.
Yep.
And you had to
You had to
put
be
in
good at
minus
it.
this or plus this. And it feels like with all the Copilot prompts that we're in those early stages of, what we were like in the early days of search.
Yeah, I see a lot of stuff on Twitter, social media about tips for doing good prompts in ChatGPT. But the whole point of ChatGPT is, I could say, you could talk to it like a caveman. It still helps you. It figures it out. It's smart. You don't need to do the prompts. I'm a little confused by that. One other thing that confused me, and then towards the end of Microsoft Night, it clicked, was they kept talking about having your own custom Copilot, having a Copilot just for your business, for your company, and they made it sound like it's not just a matter of ordering it. There's a process of building your own Copilot, and I'm like, why the heck do I even need to do that? Because when you play with ChatGPT, if you wanted to be custom, you tell it, you say, ChatGPT, you are the head chef of a 5-star restaurant. Answer my questions about food. You could tell it, you are the principal of elementary school. Tell me your thoughts on education policy. You could just tell it to be something. Why do I need to customize I don't want to customize my Copilot. I just want to use it. Then I realized that that's not for me. That's for companies. Like if IBM wants their own Copilot, or if General Motors wants their own Copilot, or if, if Verizon wants their own Copilot, they're going to use a custom version of Microsoft Copilot. I'm like, oh, they're really selling Copilot here. But here's the question that I should be an easy answer. What the licensing, the cost, what comes with what do you need a premium license for? What do you get separately? Is a custom thing? Is that its own thing? How do you get Copilot?
Well, this is where it starts getting interesting. So if we look at unified communications, meetings, that sort of side of it, you get, if you buy the Microsoft 365 Copilot license, which I think is around $30 per user per month, you get Copilot to help compose messages. You get the pre-canned prompts to help summarize key points and identify decisions. You get that. You get Copilot from the Calls app, for example. You can get insights from your post voice over IP and PSTN calls. That requires a Copilot license, or that's included in the Copilot license. You've got Copilot for collaborative notes in meetings, and those are going to be loop components. Perhaps we can spend a little bit of time talking about that, but you get that as part of your Copilot license. Then intelligent recap, you need the Copilot license and the Teams premium license. And then
Okay.
for some of the really frilly decorative stuff, which I'm not really bothered about, the things like in Microsoft Teams, if you want to have a channel announcement and you want to pick a nice background to make it stand out, you can use Copilot to create a nice image. You need a Copilot license and a Teams premium license just to insert a nice, pretty image. And
Mm.
then for some of the decorative virtual backgrounds that allows you to do some frilly stuff in the virtual background, that requires a Teams premium license. There's some really weird stuff that is just nice to have, it's not essential, that requires Teams premium license. It's just confusing. I get really confused as to what's included. And there's this industry maxim about where there's mystery, there's margin. I just think if you don't delve too far, Microsoft will help you. Microsoft will have IT departments buying absolutely everything rather than picking apart what you actually need. So I think there's a lot of people overwhelmed by what's included, what's not included, what features I get, what features I don't get. It's going to take a long time to pick this apart.
Yeah, I was a little overwhelmed and confused too. But if anyone from Microsoft is like, are they going to say something nice? Let me say something nice. I attended a lot of sessions, and some that really weren't even in my area of coverage, weren't really about Teams or UC, just because I'm trying to learn more about Microsoft, and it was a really good event. And in every session, in the keynotes, I'm very active in the chat. I'm watching the chat, and every 10th chat comment was, my company is less than 300 people. How can I get this? I want this. There is a hunger for this. We can talk about this feature and that feature, the background or this or that, which ones we like. And overall, this conference was attended by a lot of people virtually. The tiny sessions had hundreds and hundreds of people in them, and everyone wants this stuff. So just want to give them a little bit of love. And one feature that I just thought was cool, we're doing so much with AI now. Are we ever going to run out of new things to do with backgrounds? It was like a cleanup, redecorate your background. Instead of, this is a complete virtual, I have a green screen, a complete virtual background. But they take your real background, and if it's a little cluttered, they get rid of some of the notes and papers and put a plant there instead. They basically redecorate it. They make it nicer for you. I'm worried that like my wife will see that and take a screenshot and say, now make it like that in real life. But those features, we could say, come on, does it make you more productive? Is it another Maybelline filter? All that kind of stuff. But people love it. People love it. And if it makes people happier using video and happier being on a meeting and being at work, I am all in favor of it.
Do you love it enough to pay an extra $7 for a Teams premium license?
No.
There we go. So,
but if it's part of the bundle that my boss is getting from me, I'm going to be happy.
Yeah, if the IT department stumps it up, fantastic. It's a nice to have. It's not an essential. One thing that is really good, though, I heard, which I'm really impressed by, is this voice isolation in Teams. So what that does is it recognizes voice and suppresses other noises, including other people's speech. So you're the only one to be heard. So you go through this brief enrollment process, and then AI in Teams recognizes your voice. So it isolates me from everyone else, which I think is really, really interesting, especially when you think about, conference rooms in offices, or if you've got a noisy background, as well as noise. You've got noise or voice isolation as well as noise reduction and noise suppression. So that to me is really interesting.
A quick thought on that. We're getting into Mesh, but a quick thought on that. I was working with Dave Michaels, another friend of our on our analyst community, and I was trying to help him. We were working together on a video clip on a trade show floor, and he usually has a good mic that has noise reduction, but he was using another mic, so there was just you want a little bit of crowd noise to know that you're there, but it was too much. So just playing around, not a sponsored thing. We never published results, but we ran it through Zoom. I started a Zoom meeting and ran it through recorded on the other end because Zoom has noise reduction, and ran it through Teams and ran it through WebEx, and they all did a good job. And I'm not going to say who was best because it's subjective. Maybe at some point I'll do a whole sponsored thing on it, but in general, the AI is good, but it's designed to let human voice through. It doesn't know. It doesn't know that I want to hear, Dave Michaels who's standing there, and the person that he's talking to thinks I want to hear every human voice nearby. So they all struggled with that. So this is. I'm worried that some people heard what you said and said, Tim, we have voice isolation stuff already. We have noise. No, this is different. This isn't just voice isolation. This is David's voice isolation. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah, that's really
So
interesting.
ready to
But
talk about
yeah,
mesh now? Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have
yeah,
another thought on
Mesh,
that?
Microsoft Mesh. I call it Microsoft Meh because for me, those sort of immersive experiences with avatars and 3D environments, it has a place. And I think the big place is in webinars and events and town halls where you want to make it memorable, you want to make it different. I'm not sure it's going to offer a great deal in terms of team meetings or one-to-ones. That will require, it's going to come in January 2024, and it requires a Teams premium license. But what I'm interested in is um, you get a 3D experience on a 2D flat screen. So, it's almost like I'm watching a cartoon or what have you on my 2D monitor. Unless, of course, you are connecting up, something like a Quest 3, a VR headset. But then I'm not too sure on how you enter that experience. I don't know if Microsoft are doing anything with Meta. I don't know if you need anything on the Meta side in terms of additional licenses. I don't know how you join from your VR controllers and your headset. I don't know if it has to be plugged into a PC. So for me, it's got a lot of unanswered questions, but I do see this being memorable for webinars. I think that would be really interesting.
I have mixed feelings on this. I'm a video gamer, not as much anymore. I'm too busy these days, but I've spent a lot of time, a lot of time, a lot of time walking around worlds just like this, not wearing it. I don't have a headset, but just like this, sitting at my desktop, and I see it 3D flat screen. And yeah, you get into it, you're in that world. You don't feel like you're sitting in front of your computer. You're walking around this little library or whatever, or you want to go play in the mountains or fly around on your dragon. It is absolutely immersive. And if I was working at an office and the boss put this in and gave me an account, I would log into it first thing in the morning, and I would be running around in there, and I would be the only one. I would be the only one. This is a David likes it thing. I've learned to accept there's some technologies in our space that I get very, very excited about, and I make all these videos and write all these articles about, and I want everyone to use, and everyone just says, no, David. And this is a no, David. I'm sorry. It's just a no, David. I love it. I would love to be, rather than seeing someone I am, on I am, seeing their little avatar while I'm typing to them on I am, and having a feeling of being in the same space with them. I'm at work with them, even though I'm at home. That's the one thing that we don't like about remote work, is not feeling like you're with people. When I used to play World of Warcraft, I felt like I was with those people. I felt like I was in the same physical space with those people. So
Well,
I
I
love this
like,
idea. I wish the world was ready
yeah,
for it. But one thing, if you give me avatars with no legs, I'm going to make fun of you. I don't care if you're Microsoft. I'm not afraid of you. I'm going to make fun of you if you give me avatars with no legs. I made fun of Facebook. They're big too. I'm not afraid of them either. You can't do this to me. Okay, you can't do this to me. We've had legs and avatars in 3D spaces for years. Talk to some. Don't you own? Doesn't Microsoft own Blizzard? Blizzard makes a World of Warcraft. Don't make it
well, I'm
that
a big
easy. Don't make it that easy for us to make fun of you.
no. I really enjoy VR games. Actually, I'm an old gamer. I've got a Quest 3, and I love playing Population One. That's my favorite go-to game. It's immersive. I think this could be immersive. It could be a great opportunity to have digital water cooler moments where you go up to other people, or you just meet online, just to, you have a coffee on your desk and just dip in for a little bit of time. Webinars, as I say, I've attended a VR webinar before. It was very, very memorable. I've found that excellent. But, again, Teams premium license, not sure it's going to add anything to one-to-one meetings or departmental meetings, but I'm sure it will have a place at some point in time. You just need to make it accessible, usable, immersive. But I don't know. It'll take some time for this to catch on, I think.
I can't say that I can't promise any level of adoption with this, But I do think that the however many companies use this, they're gonna love it. They're gonna love it. It's gonna be their favorite part of work. I just think that the people who do like this like it a lot. Again,
Yeah.
I'm trying to be a little bit positive here. We're being so mean.
Well, one thing that I do like is the Microsoft Loop is GA. Now, Microsoft Loop is these reusable components that you can build within a canvas. I call them co-creation workspaces. I guess we needed to put a title on this sort of new sort of
Like Zoom
emerging
Docs.
capability. Yeah, like Zoom Docs, like Notion, like Coda. And Microsoft Loop components, it allows you to make tables and lists and progress trackers, those sorts of components. And you can embed them in documents, email, Teams, chat. And now, thankfully, they're putting it in Teams channels. It annoyed me because previously I could put a Loop component into a one-to-one chat session, but I couldn't put it into my, my team channel. Thankfully, that's coming to Teams channels. It's being rolled out.
Yes.
But I think this is a really interesting area of asynchronous communications that I think is going to change a lot of the way in which work gets done. Because previously, it's all about meetings. It's meeting backgrounds and meeting this and meeting that. And if in doubt, have a meetings. Now, it looks like Microsoft are focusing, and it's not just Microsoft, of course. Zoom made that announcement with Zoom Docs. But Microsoft seems to be looking at the asynchronous collaboration, the small c in UC&C, that they seem to be focusing on that now. So that's really, I'm very excited over that, because being in a multinational company, working with people across the globe, we can't all jump on a meeting at 3 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock at night. So I love this way of collaboration.
I'm also super excited about this new way of collaboration. We do need a name for this. This is hard to name. It's somewhere between a whiteboard and a document. It's a document. I don't know. We got to come up with a new name for it. But it is exciting, and unlike some of the other things we're talking about, I am not concerned about adoption. People are going to jump right in on this and start working. It seems like a very natural way to work. It's just. Yeah, you just start working together on a project. It's a project space. It's a sandbox. I don't know what it is. We need to come up with a word for it. But I think
that was my co-creation workspace. But I'd love to. Any other suggestions on a new name? Please feel free to let me know. And what I can do, David, is I'll post a link to the free sort of opinion piece. It's only a few pages that I did, and you can just click on that and read it, see what you think.
Yeah, it's a little hard to read here, so we'll share a link to it. But yeah, I think there's a new category in what we as UC analysts cover now, and this is it.
Absolutely. And what's nice about that is that these Loop components will be in the collaborative notes part of a meeting. So you can the collaborative notes that everyone takes in a meeting, there'll be Loop components that you can put in an email or embed elsewhere. So they're reusable. And of course, they get updated in real time. So if I make a change in a collaboration notes in a Teams meeting, that gets updated in an email in real time. So it's a really great way of working. And look forward to using it.
Yeah. And of course, Copilot throughout, I'm sure. All right.
Summarization with Copilot in Loop, even Copilot in whiteboards. So you can summarize a whiteboard using Copilot. So it's ubiquitous. It's everywhere.
I'm wondering if whiteboards are going to go away, because this does everything a whiteboard does. I'm almost thinking, this is like the evolution of whiteboards.
You're right. And then I also wonder about, of course, Microsoft OneNote. Would I really want OneNote, or would I just use Loop components? Or will OneNote integrate with Loop at some point in time? Because your Microsoft Planner, To Do, and your Outlook tasks all integrate together. Will the progress trackers in Loop integrate with all of that as well? So once again, lots of questions. What are you going to use for what purposes? A lot of options, but again, with those options comes confusion potentially.
Yeah, OneNote is one of those things I've never leveraged fully, but I have friends who show me what they do with it, and it is such an underrated tool. It is one that's really incredible. Any other thoughts on the event? Any other announcements that we should have mentioned?
Well, the one thing that I found, the big one for me, if there was one key takeaway, it was around Microsoft making announcements that Microsoft is saying that they're seeing mounting digital debt pile up in our work lives. And they say that we're all overwhelmed with emails, meetings, and notifications, which I agree. And then Microsoft revealed from the Work Index that people spend on average 2 full days a week just attending meetings and answering emails. And I would absolutely categorically agree with that. There's
Sounds right.
a lot of that. But the big key takeaway from me was when you looked at the ROI on Copilot, it was quite uninspiring. So the big takeaway from Copilot was on average, users reported daily time savings of 14 minutes or 1.2 hours a week. So we got digital debt on one side, which is 2 full days a week dealing with emails, notifications, and meetings. And then you get to save 1.2 hours a week or 14 minutes and 24 seconds a day using Copilot. So let's sort out the digital debt because Copilot isn't the answer.
Yeah. I mean, on the one hand, I'll take an extra hour a week, but on the other hand, there's a lot easier ways to get an hour a week. In 1998, I quit smoking. I used to smoke cigarettes. It was so dumb. But I worked in an office at the time, and I got at least an hour of productivity because I used to have to take the elevator down 3 or 4 times a day for a cigarette break. So that was way more than 14 minutes a day. So that was, just saying there's a lot more ways to get productive than that.
Well,
But there are,
maybe
to be
what we
fair,
need to
there's
do-
soft benefits. When I use
Yeah.
when I use a meeting summary, especially the new good meeting summaries, like the Zoom stuff, or the Copilot stuff. I haven't played with Copilot, but the Chat GPT like stuff. It's not just, oh, this saved me 5 minutes, but there's a soft benefit. It makes me feel more confident. I didn't miss anything. There's nothing I forgot. There's no follow-ups that I need to do, or I just feel better about how I'm doing my job. And I don't know if you could measure that. It's not time saved. If you're going to be spending money on this, we were talking about this before, you want hard ROI. I'm saving 3 hours, a week or whatever.
Well, here's an idea, David. Why don't we speak to the UC vendor and say, can you get AI to tell me what's the best way of communicating with someone? So if David is in the US and I'm in the UK, can I ask Copilot to say, I need to communicate with David. This is the details of the communication. And it will automatically say, David prefers business chat to email, or David prefers a video meeting. I would like AI to choose the best channel or modality for communication and collaboration. That to me would be a real big benefit.
That would not just be an anxiety, brain saver, but it would be a time saver. I got to spend hours a week saying, oh, I need to talk to Kelly. Do I send her a message on Discord? Do I send her a message on Zoom chat? Do I send her an email, a text, a phone call, a Twitter DM? Sometimes she responds to those quicker than the others. What do I do? And it's like, I want to say, Copilot, tell Kelly's Copilot that we need to talk.
Well, the thing is, I mean, we get presence indicators on instant messaging and business chat. We get out of office notifications on email. Surely Copilot should be intelligent enough to say, Tim's out of his office. I can see it on Outlook. Don't bother sending him an email. Suggest I don't know, wait until he's back off vacation because we know when he's returning, and then go to the top of his inbox. Those sorts of things are going to be really useful. But
I don't see why you can't do that. I mean, the whole point is that it's not a search engine; it's a personal assistant. And when you hire a real personal assistant, one of the first things they do is stand up, sit outside your store and say you can't come and see him now.
Yeah, or at least know your calendar. What's on your calendar? Copilot should at least know that.
Yeah, in some ways, I'm really, the new AI is getting really scary. I was watching we're going long already, but I was watching a Twitch streamer that I'm friends with. It was a guitar stream, and he had an AI bot. Someone could type something into a chat, and an AI image that looked like him would pop up and would read the text in his voice. It sounded like him. He had trained it somehow. So, I could have a little cartoon David sitting here that says things in my voice. That was scary. But some of it I'm really excited about. It's just gonna help us so much. So a final thought. I don't. I'm trying to think how we're gonna do this. I want to spend time talking to you about the fact that we've attended Zoomtopia Hybrid, WebEx, WebEx One Hybrid, Ring Central's event virtual, and Microsoft Ignite virtual. So we had a look at all four platforms with some caveats, and there is a big discussion. I'm so big on virtual events. I want to do some comparing. I want to say what I liked about them, but that's maybe we have to maybe if next episode the news is slow, we could do that, or now we'll do a special episode because I got a lot to say, and I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be a really interesting one. I look forward to that, David.
Yeah, because we've been saying for a long time we need better events platforms, and some of them have been listening and doing some work on it, and they deserve a lot of credit. But with that, I think I'm ready to call it a Friday. How about you?
Yeah, me too. I think it's a work in progress. We're at the starting point of AI and Copilot. Plenty of work to be done. Exciting future, but at the moment, if it was my money, I think I would save it at the moment.
I just need a little more help understanding it. And to be fair, it's new, it's different. It's not just it's just not just Microsoft. It's a little confusing. We're talking about after WebEx One, they did such a great job explaining everything. I'm not sure how they're monetizing AI. And I should understand that. And I asked you, and you were also a little confused about it. So it's not just me. So Microsoft isn't the only one that's having a little trouble with the messaging because it's new and it's different. We're just figuring it out. But wow, are they doing a lot of work? This is change the world kind of stuff. All right. And with that, thanks everyone for watching. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.